Hey YouTube, it's Direct Master, and this is going to be another Clash of the Duel Masters discussion video based on some of the new cards that came out and my kind of thoughts and predictions on how certain things are going to play out. The set just came out yesterday as I'm making this video. I don't know exactly when I'll get it up. And I went to the release event, and sure enough, someone, Dave Pendergrass, pulled one of these for his one of his very rares in the draft, and I've got two here. Unfortunately, I didn't get one as part of the draft, but Steam Tank Cryon's so good. It's necessary to be able to kill this thing off, and that's pretty much what your Death Smokes are going to be killing in the match against this, unless something plays out the way I think it's going to, which is what this video is going to be about. Steam Tank is really good. It's like hyperspeed for everything that gives them powerful attack 2000, or actually no, it just gives them plus 2000 power when they enter the battlefield. So that's really good. It's only 1000 less power, and it's 2 civilizations, which is sometimes a downside, sometimes an upside, just because of the entering the mana zone tapped thing. But that's easy enough to play around, and I haven't had too much of a problem with it other than isolated moments in draft where I couldn't actually play much of anything on the right turn because I had too many 2 civilization cards. But that's just a sealed kind of problem. I'm not expecting it to be a big deal outside of sealed events. But in my matches with him, I played 3 against him. We tested our decks against each other, and then we played first round. I took all 3 games, and really what was doing it was Mesmerize. Because Mesmerize, even if I go after him, Mesmerize still comes out 1 turn before he could get out Steam Tank. And both games I played against him in the tournament itself, I mesmerized his Steam Tank the turn before he was going to play it. And that was really crucial because the one game that we played before the tournament, he got Steam Tank out and almost won the game for him. I managed to make a comeback just because I had the new hybrid blocker that returns to your hand when it dies. So I was managing to keep his big dragon at bay, and it wasn't double breaking me, but he got it out, and it immediately took 2 of my shields out and just put me at a huge disadvantage because of Steam Tank, and I ended up taking that game just barely. It was ridiculously close. I didn't want to keep cutting it that close, but that's why Mesmerize does its job. I mean, I got 2 of these out of my packs, so I was in pretty good shape. Any of you playing sealed should definitely look for Mesmerize. The more the better. If you get these, you want to be playing Darkness. It shuts down so much of the options that your opponents could have, and did so much work for me. But as far as outside of sealed, when we're playing with our real decks, Mesmerize is obviously a great turn 3 card. Even if you play it after turn 3, it's the same thing as Puppet, except you don't get a creature, you just pay 3 mana to look at their hand and discard a card. It's just, I don't know what it's going to do, to be honest. I feel like it's going to make other decks less viable even than they were before. We've just seen a lot of Water, Light, Darkness, Andromeda control, and I think we're going to continue to see pretty much the same kind of deck dominating, because they made this, which really hurts, because it comes out so much earlier. You lose so many more options. I just don't know exactly what to think of it, though, because if you're going first, you're going to Mesmerize. You're going to see your opponent has a Mesmerize if they have one, and then you're going to be faced with the option of letting them discard and discarding one of their good cards, so it's kind of a trade, or of discarding their Mesmerize, and that puts you behind. The only advantage you get off of it is seeing their hand, but then they get to play their turn 3 as like an actual turn 3. So that could put you at a slight disadvantage. But as far as when it faces other decks, it clearly gives them an advantage. It makes things like Steam Tank less viable. It's going to hit all of the good cards in the mirror match as well, assuming you don't go for their Mesmerize. Just kind of depends on how you think things will play out there, and what mana they have. If you discard their other darkness card and they have no darkness mana, it might work out well for you. I did a similar thing in the draft tournament where I used Mesmerize, saw they had a Mesmerize and a big card. I discarded that big creature, and they didn't get darkness mana for really the entire game. Their first darkness mana was the Mesmerize. They ended up giving up on it, and that decision won me the game because they would have won with that creature I discarded. The only reason I won was because they didn't have a finisher until way too late, and I just kept attacking with little creatures. So this worked out really well, having Mesmerize in the draft, and based on what I've seen that it can do, I'm thinking it's going to make other decks have a much harder time against these control decks, especially because this could potentially hit rush decks even harder, and those weren't doing particularly well before. I don't even know if they got in top 8 anywhere. If they did, I don't think they ever placed too high in the top 8, and it's just going to make the game harder for them now because Control has a very early game option other than just Gloom Hollow that's going to discard any card in your hand and let us see what you have. So things like Steam Tank, I feel, are really, really good cards, but they're going to be a lot harder to play now, just simply because of Mesmerize alone. You're just going to have to hope your opponent doesn't open with a Mesmerize or get it by turn 3. That's really what I think you're going to have to hope for. It's going to be great to see how Clash plays out. Hope you enjoyed this little discussion here, got something out of it. Definitely, if you play Darkness in your decks, look to play 3 Mesmerize. It's really, really crucial at this point. And I'd love to know what you guys think about this, about Mesmerize and what it's going to do to the top decks right now in the Clash era, and what you think we're going to see, how the KMCs are going to go, and what you think the variance in decks is going to be now. Do you think there's going to be more variation, less variation? Do you think Mesmerize has anything to do with it? Just kind of tell me what you think about the topics that I touched on in this video and where you stand on them. It would be really nice to know. And thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to leave your comments, and have a nice day.